Good day. This is A.J. Jackson at Silken. I've been a consultant and senior analyst at the company for over 32 years. This is another talk in a series of webinars for practice owners and practice managers. Today's subject is on bonus plans, how to avoid the landmines that can make them a disaster. The subject of bonus plans has long been a confusing subject for practice owners. The general theory makes sense. Create an incentive for staff to encourage them to do exemplary work. The problem is in the implementation. When you tread into the realm of bonus plans, you're entering a minefield. If you do it correctly, it can be a very useful tool for the executive. Done wrong, and for every right way there is a myriad of wrong ways, and it will blow up and create a terrible working environment as the staff will be livid. And when the dust settles, the besieged practice owner is similarly upset as she or he feels unfairly attacked when all they were trying to do was find a way to pay the staff more. So why does this all go so wrong? First, let's look at this from the staff member's perspective. However the bonus system is set up, it's still all about money. And while everyone says you should be careful when talking about politics or religion, neither of these subjects contain as much emotional reaction as when you start monkeying around with someone's pay. Look at how the regularly hour or salary pay is set up. It's all based on the subject of exchange. The staff member is hired to do a certain job. Money is given in exchange for that work. Staff generally understand that. They know if they consistently do poor work, they will be dismissed. So most staff strive to do a good job. In return, they expect their payment, and they expect it to be consistent. If the owner kept constantly changing the pay scale, the staff would understandably be upset. In other words, there are agreements in place that are pretty cut and dried. Work X number of hours and get paid X amount. When and how much a person gets paid is then dependable and predictable. There's nothing arbitrary or capricious about it. So this leads us to one of the basic problems with most bonus systems. To most staff, bonus plans are neither predictable nor dependable. Here's an example. In many practices, bonuses are given out basically on a whim. The owner feels there was a good month and wants to share in it so that they distribute some of the profits to the staff. The staff obviously like this and want to participate in this generosity again. So the next time a good month occurs, there's an expectation of a similar bonus. And when it doesn't materialize, the staff resent it. What has been violated is the predictability. To earn their basic check, the staff know they need to show up and do good work. This will predictably lead to a paycheck. However, with the bonus, there is no such predictability. The practice did similarly a good month, but the staff were not rewarded as before. Now the staff are resenting the owner and viewing them as a cheapskate, and the owner in turn is left wishing they had never gotten out a bonus in the first place. So what started out as a generous act on the owner's part has now become the subject of dissatisfaction on everyone's part. And this continues. The owner, still viewing some benefit in a bonus plan, makes the adjustment and sets up an actual bonus structure. The practice does X amount of production, and the staff will get X amount of money in the form of a bonus. So now there's predictability. Only there isn't. For if the bonus is met consistently, it is because the production is consistently higher, which also, though, means the expenses are consistently higher. So the owner raises the level the production needs to be at to earn the bonus, and now the staff lose their predictability again. From their point of view, they had just started making consistent money, and the owner suddenly changed the rules, making it unlikely to have to pay the bonus. And their concern is that even if they somehow achieve the new production level, the owner will again change the rules. So again, the owner is viewed as a cheapskate. In addition to the problem of predictability, there lies the problem of control. Oftentimes, the staff can work hard to achieve the production level, only to see the practice fall short of the named target. Now the staff start getting frustrated as a carrot has been dangled in front of them, but they don't know what they can do to make sure the practice achieves its target. In other words, they don't know what to control. They work hard, maybe work through lunch or take less breaks. These are all efforts on their part to control something that can be controlled, their time and quality of work. But when that still doesn't result in the practice reaching the targeted production level, the staff feel deflated and feel like they are just a cog in some. By the way, the problem of the staff not feeling like they can contribute and thus help control the income level of the practice is one of the most common problems in virtually every practice I've analyzed. Most of this problem is traced back to the owner not knowing how to identify all the parts of a practice that affect income. And did you know that in a solo doctor practice there can be up to 12 to 15 of these areas? In multiple doctor practices there are many more. Once these areas have been identified, then the owner has to place a staff member in charge of each of the areas, develop a statistic to monitor it, and then teach the staff member how to control the area so as to keep the statistic in the appropriate range. The owner who can do this is the owner who can control their own economic destiny. But back to the subject of bonus plans. In addition to this problem, there is also the sense of unfairness that most bonus systems create. The majority of bonus systems take a certain amount of money and divide it among the staff, generally in proportion to how many hours they work. But in most practices, you'll find a few superstars that do the bulk of the extra work. They are the ones that talk to patients about referring when the other staff are reticent, or they are the ones that are more productive per hour than others. But when they see everyone being rewarded equally, despite the difference in the quality of work, resentment starts cropping up. Or again, they stop putting out the extra effort because they are getting paid the same as those who don't put the additional effort in. And of course, the irony is that when the superstars start cutting back on their own efforts, the goal doesn't make, and no one gets a bonus. Poorly set up bonus plans also create problems for owners, mainly financially. Bonuses are supposed to be paid on profit. In other words, money brought in above and beyond what it costs to run the practice, often called the make-break point or the overhead. If the bonus system starts paying out money before profits are achieved, then the owner is simply taking a pay cut. But an analysis of thousands and thousands of practices have demonstrated that most owners don't know how to correctly figure out their make-break point. As just one point on this, most make-break points don't take into account non-monthly expenses. Examples of these type of expenses are repairs to equipment, equipment replacement, money set aside for reserves or for staff training, etc. Since these aren't bills that the owner deals with month in and month out, it's easy for these not to be included in the make-break point. But they are expenses and eventually do have to be paid. In other words, in most practices, the make-break point is actually higher than what the owner thinks it is. So here we have an example of how bonus levels can get tied to income ranges that don't really reflect the profit. All right, these are the main reasons bonus systems don't function well. Lack of predictability for the staff's perceived lack of being able to proactively control the production or income so as to make the bonus, the unfairness in how the bonus is distributed, and bonus levels being set up incorrectly. There are other factors that make bonus plans a problem for the practice, but these are some of the important ones. The result of all this is the opposite of a win-win. The staff are unhappy and view the owner as a cheapskate. The owner feels angry that his or her efforts at helping the staff to make more money are not only not appreciated, but are attacked. What a mess. So how does one get around all of this? The following factors must be included in any bonus plan to make it succeed. Number one, bonuses need to be based on profit, not revenue. To do this, it is crucial that the owner understand how to identify all the true expenses of the practice. Number two, the owner has to know what percentage of the profits is correct to distribute to the staff. Number three, the staff have to feel that the bonus plan is predictable. This means bonuses need to be tied to specific statistics that can be measured and known to the staff. Secondly, the fact that changes to the bonus level will occur on occasion as the make-break point rises must be clearly understood by the staff. This way, when the income level target is raised to account for the increase in the make-break point, the staff are not upset. Point number 4, the staff have to feel like they can control the income of the practice so as to ensure they have a chance in getting to the targeted areas. To do this, as mentioned above, the owner has to identify all the parts of the practice that affect income, develop a statistic to monitor that area, place a staff member in charge of that area, and then train them on how to control the area so as to keep the statistic at the correct range. And number 5, the bonus system has to be fair. In other words, it has to reward the staff that truly contribute to the growth, not just because they happen to be part of the team. If all of the above seems a bit complicated, that's because it is. And it isn't. First of all, the steps 1 through 5 above are all things that any owner should have in place anyways. In other words, regardless of whether you have a bonus system in place, the owner needs to 1. Understand the true point of the practice. 2. Understand how to equitably pay staff, and that's whether it's just wages or bonuses. 3. Correct predictability in the practice. 4. Work with the staff so they feel like their efforts make a meaningful difference in the practice. And 5. Ensure that everyone in the practice is carrying their own weight and are not being propped up by other staff. So every owner should have these points in place in the practice. If you are uncertain on any of the points above, it is crucial that you educate yourself on them. And once in, it then becomes easy to set up a bonus plan that is both effective and motivating. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to call us at the number you see on the screen. I hope this has been a benefit to you, and I wish you a successful and prosperous practice.